Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's announcement and to the historic district of St. John's West. We gather today to mark an important investments for a greener environment that will support our economy, and we're very proud to be here to announce that along with our federal partners. I'd like to thank the Honourable Dwight, Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador, for delivering remarks on behalf of the province, the Honourable Lisa Dempster, Minister of Children, Seniors and Social Development, and the Minister responsible for Newfoundland and Labrador Housing, for speaking here today about the announcement. And I'd also like to thank and welcome Minister Seamus O'Regan, Minister of Indigenous Services and MP for St. John's South Mount Pearl, and it is part of your wonderful riding in which we are in today, who will be here representing the federal government. And I'd like to thank Minister Graham Leto for being here in his capacity as the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Environment. And I'd like to recognize, I think Minister Steve Crocker is here, the Parliamentary Secretary Randy Edmonds is here, and I hope I haven't forgotten anybody. And I'd like to welcome all members of the media and of course the Board of Directors of the Housing Corporation and other government officials here today. And given we are here in the Housing Corporations in my district of St. John's West, I am very pleased to be here to greet you all and to represent my constituents, many of whom will be benefiting from today's announcement. We are indeed very fortunate to enjoy a strong and productive working relationship with the federal government. Today's announcement is just one example of what we can do and what we can deliver when we have that strong intergovernmental cooperation. I'd now like to invite Premier Ball, who will deliver remarks on behalf of the government and the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. Premier Ball.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Siobhan. She's made the appropriate introduction, so I will not go back over the list again, but welcome, everyone. And I am so proud to be here once again. Extremely proud because once again we get the opportunity to demonstrate a real partnership works. So it's my pleasure to be here with Minister O'Regan, who I think just got in from Vancouver somewhere, and Minister Dempster, Minister Cody, and the other ones that Siobhan had just mentioned. But extremely proud to be here too at the Newfoundland and Labrador Housing Corporation and for hosting us this morning, and thank you to Glenn Goss. And in Newfoundland and Labrador, we often talk about the creativity and the innovation of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, and I often share stories about people that I would have grown up with that just did things in some very creative ways. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are known for that. But when you take the innovation that we're known for and you take that and you share a narrative around what a future transition would be to a low-carbon global economy, well, then that's a great fit for us and the federal government, because it gives us yet another opportunity to demonstrate the innovation that we have in Newfoundland and Labrador. Well, today's announcement is about collaborating with the federal government and doing so, supporting our citizens, supporting our communities, creating jobs in a green economy that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions and tackle climate change. I was thinking this morning when I was getting ready for this, there we are late January and it's raining outside in the middle of the winter. For those that don't think climate change is for real, I think you just need to look through the window this morning and you will have your answer. What we know in our province over the last 2 or 3 years is that we've seen a growing collaboration with our federal government, with private sector communities within Newfoundland and Labrador, and that relationship is working for the benefit of people in our province. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce that the provincial government will be matching the federal government $44.7 million investment for the Low Carbon Economy Leadership Fund. So, thank you. That will generate $89 million in funding to invest in greenhouse gas reduction projects in our province between now and 2022. We are working with our federal partners on programs that will be supported through this leadership fund. The types of programs under the Low Carbon Economy Leadership Fund will help Newfoundlanders and Labradorians transition into cleaner energy practices and assist our province in meeting the climate change mitigation commitments. Today's announcement is also part of the vision that we put forward to in 2016 about the way forward. We deliver better services, improve outcomes, and leverage federal funding to implement climate change initiatives. So these strategic initiatives with our government will continue. This will meet and leverage funds from the federal government, bring enhancements to our communities, to our Indigenous governments and organizations, and non-profit organizations. And I think it's fair to say and remind ourselves that no matter where we go in Newfoundland and Labrador, we have a tremendous number of not-for-profit organizations that are volunteering in every single community, adding benefits to our province. And there's real opportunity here for the private sector. There is renewed opportunity in Newfoundland and Labrador as a place to invest. So what we are really talking about is using our energy wiser, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and creating jobs for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. And by 2030, this vision that we're putting forward with our federal government will deliver some nearly 800,000 tons of cumulative greenhouse gas emissions reductions and will provide employment for nearly 190 people. The first two phases, the first two programs that we're announcing today, and more to follow in the coming months, will do just that. So today, I'm pleased to be joined by Minister Dempster, and we will launch the expansion of the Newfoundland and Labrador Housing Corporation's Home Energy Savings Program. So what you will see from the Leadership Fund is $2 million from the federal government. This will be supplemented by an additional provincial investment of some $6 million, and Minister Dempster will give you details on that in a few minutes. But I'm also pleased to launch another program which will be supported by this fund today. This will be the energy efficiency and fuel switching in public buildings. So what we're talking about is bolstering the fuel switching in government-owned or government-operated buildings, including institutions like our post-secondary. Of course, that will be areas in the CNA environment. In Budget 2018, the provincial government announced some $4.37 million to pursue this program, and under the Leadership Fund, we'll be matching that funding. The program will be administered by the Department of Transportation and Works. And of course, that's the department that looks after most of our buildings, and Minister Crocker is with us here today. So in addition to these two programs that I'm just talking about, in the coming months, you will see through the Department of Municipal Affairs and Environment, which is, of course, Minister Leto, who is here, we will be announcing programs in the future. But I also want to mention, none of this happens, of course, without the federal government. Seamus is here today as our minister, but also I want to acknowledge the work that has been done at the Federal Department of Environment and Climate Change Canada, and of course that's Minister McKenna. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for joining us. This is investment today with our federal partners that will bring jobs to Newfoundland and Labrador, and once again, part of our vision to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in Newfoundland and Labrador. I know many seniors, I know many middle-income families within our province today that they are concerned about what the rising costs of energy in the future, but this is another way that we spend their taxpayers' money wisely, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and make sure that we put these programs in place that affect and reflect the needs of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. So thank you very much.
Before I get to my remarks today, on behalf of my colleague, Catherine McKenna, who is, of course, the Minister of the Environment and Climate Change, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the Indigenous people, Mi'kmaq and Beothuk, past and present, who have inhabited this island. That's particularly important for us to reflect on as we celebrate this week's news, that the remains of two Beothuk were repatriated to Canada. And I know that sentiment is shared by some of the people here with me today. Randy, I would say particularly, Premier Ball, Minister Leto, Minister Dempster. I'm happy to be with you to share this important announcement. Before we get into the specifics of it, let me tell you why it's important. Despite what some politicians may tell you on Twitter, climate change is real. It is here. And if we don't take significant measures to do something about it, we're going to be left with a significant bill to pay. The impacts of climate change are all around us. The Fort McMurray fires, the BC fires, deadly heat waves in Ontario and Quebec, and devastating flooding in New Brunswick. And while it's important not to confuse weather with climate, I think we can all see the slow transition of the climate in this province. But honestly, the broader impacts of this have yet to be felt. Canada's Arctic is warming at 3 times the rate of the rest of the planet. And when you warm up the poles, Antarctica is the same way, and I spent a week in Antarctica. You could physically see, looking at pictures of glaciers, and then seeing them for real as they are now. And those pictures just a year or 2 old, you could physically see the change. And it's the melting of those glaciers. I could tell you some estimate that we could expect sea levels to rise above 1 meter, 3 feet in the next 80 years. Or I could tell you that we lose 1 foot of PEI every year right now. The Government of Canada and the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador know that we need to work with Canadians to find ways to literally hold back the tide. And we also know that it doesn't matter if you're a surfer in BC or a snowmobiler in Nunavut or a fisherman in Newfoundland. We all want to protect our coastline from coast to coast to coast. This isn't fear-mongering. That's not how I meant this. The scientific evidence has been tallied, and the question on climate change isn't if, it's how bad is it going to be. But we know we can find ways to reduce carbon pollution. We can find ways to reduce other harmful emissions. We'll do it as Canadians have always done it, when we rise to a challenge. We'll develop smart, practical, and affordable ways to combat a problem. We'll do that to protect our homes and the future of our kids, and we'll create good jobs along the way. I'm proud to announce that the federal government and the provincial government are partnering up to help families and businesses in Newfoundland and Labrador become more energy efficient, saving people here money, and helping create good jobs. We are investing over $44 million in Newfoundland and Labrador to expand the home energy savings program and for the new energy efficiency and fuel switching in public buildings program. And the Government of Canada and the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador is matching this funding from the Government of Canada, bringing together investments for climate action on behalf of families and businesses to almost $90 million. An energy-efficient home is critical to reducing a personal carbon footprint, but an efficient home is a comfortable home, improving the quality of life for families across this province. Since 2017, the Home Energy Savings Program has been helping low-income families who heat their homes with electricity afford energy efficiency upgrades. And now we're expanding this program to help low-income families switch from oil-based heating with grants of up to $5,000. Families who have participated in the program have seen their heating bills reduced by as much as 50%. But it's not just the houses we need to think about. Each of us spends about 1/3 of our day at work. And the places we work should be energy efficient as well. So we're also investing in the new Energy Efficiency and Fuel Switching in Public Buildings program. We're going to have to shorten that somehow because you're out of breath by the time you say the whole thing. Get a good acronym. We'll be helping hospitals, we'll be helping schools and long-term care facilities upgrade their buildings, switching to a more energy efficient way to stay comfortable. By helping these public buildings gain efficiency, they'll be able to reinvest their savings in patient care, in student learning, and in community development. Programs like these help us meet our national climate target and the province's climate goals. But it's not just good policy, it's good business. There are tangible economic benefits to taking climate action. Modest estimates suggest that increasing Canada's energy efficiency will create 118,000 jobs per year. Good, well-paying jobs for entrepreneurs like Misa here at home, building contractors, enterprising, hardworking Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. Clean solutions achieve our climate goals while driving economic growth. Investing in energy efficiency through our $2 billion low-carbon economy fund is only part of the Climate Action Plan, a plan designed to dampen emissions while spurring growth. We're working with provinces and municipalities to build public transit. We're investing with businesses that provide renewable energy, and we are doubling protected nature areas in Canada, including marine protected areas. And as of 2019, there is a price on pollution across Canada. A price on pollution is a low-cost solution that fights climate change, encourages innovation, and creates good jobs. We made a commitment, and we're taking action. Fighting climate change by investing in efficiency adds up and it pays off. It will create good middle-class jobs, supporting Newfoundland and Labrador businesses, families, and our economy. And we're doing this because we know that the environment and the economy go hand in hand. That's why we have been working diligently with Premier Ball and his government to put practical solutions into action. And as a member of this government, I am proud of how we are working with jurisdictions across the country to take action, real action, on climate change. And actions like this one today help us provide Newfoundlanders and Labradorians with clean skies and warm homes. Thank you.
I also, because we're standing where we are, can't start without acknowledging the staff at the Newfoundland and Labrador Housing Corporation. Over the past year and a half, I've had the opportunity up close to see some of the very challenging situations that those staff deal with, working with low income, working with some of the most vulnerable in society. And I know it's very rewarding work as well. I've seen their passion, and on behalf of the people of all the province, we appreciate the work that you do. I know our new board chair, Rhonda Neri, is here, Fraser Pickett, David Lovies, our acting CEO, Glenn Goss, and the rest of the staff. So thank you every day for the work that you do on behalf of the people of the province. As the Minister responsible for the Newfoundland and Labrador Housing Corporation, I am very pleased to be part of this announcement for the Low Carbon Economy Leadership Fund and to launch the expansion, as the Premier alluded to earlier, to the Home Energy Savings Program. This funding will allow Newfoundlanders and Labradorians the opportunity to contribute to a greener environment, lower the cost of home energy, and improve their health and well-being. Our government introduced the Home Energy Savings Program in 2017 to help homeowners with low income reduce their energy cost. The Home Energy Savings Program, delivered by the Newfoundland and Labrador Housing Corporation, provides grants of up to $5,000 for low-income households to complete energy efficiency upgrades, including installation, air sealing, and improved heating systems. At that time, we committed $5 million over 3 years to the Home Energy Savings Program for electrically heated homes. Today, I am very pleased to announce a significant partnership with the federal government and expansion to that program. Now, with a further investment of over $8 million, and that's a breakdown of more than $2 million from the federal government's Low Carbon Economy Leadership Fund and over $6 million from the provincial government. Newfoundland and Labrador Housing will expand the program eligibility to low-income households that rely on fuel oil for heating space. We anticipate that this expansion of eligibility to oil-heated homes, the program has the potential to reach more than 1,600 homes over 4 years. Effective immediately. And I want to pause for a moment, and the Premier mentioned it, and Minister O'Regan. This is in response, once again, and another concrete example that we are listening. This is something that we have heard loud and clear from the public that they would like to have, and so we're delighted to be here this morning doing this. Effective immediately, we are further expanding the program to eligible households using alternative methods of heating, including wood, propane, and diesel. We are also removing the requirement for homeowners with electrically heated homes to consume 15,000 kilowatt hours or more of electricity annually. And I know this is going to be great news for many of our, I'm thinking seniors in particular as the Minister of Seniors, but other low-income people as well around our province. During 2019, through the Home Energy Savings Program, we will be able to assist approximately 450 clients with oil heating and 375 clients who heat their homes with electricity, propane, diesel or wood. And those are conservative numbers, potentially more. Retrofitted households can experience energy savings of up to $600 annually, with an estimated savings of 25% on their energy cost. The expansion to this program will reduce greenhouse emissions and help low-income households in reducing their energy bills and improve comfort in their homes. One more important point I want to make here. In addition to providing significant seasonal energy savings, studies have also shown that energy-efficient retrofits can provide healthier air quality within a home, which in turn can contribute to improved health for occupants and the well-being of vulnerable groups like our children and our seniors. And I think most of us in the room today know that air quality can be a big issue in many homes. Once again, thank you everyone for being here today. Through the expansion of this program under the funding provided of this through the Low Carbon Economy Leadership Fund, we will be able to help many more people in our province, help tackle climate change, and move toward a greener economy. Thank you.